Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the textual questions of Lost Spring. Last time we went through this story. We had a long discussion about this story. We analyzed it completely. Today we shall discuss the textual questions. Actually, when you are doing questions in the examination, you will have to be very careful. You will have to be very pinpointed. And for that, you read the questions not once but twice, so that you will understand the question first. If you understand the question, only then you can write the pinpointed answer. Because in the examination, actually whatever is required in the question, what is the demand of the question, only that answer you give. Not go in a long way. If the question is demanding short answer, you will have to give short answer. If the question is demanding long answer, then you will have to give long answer. It depends on the demand of the question. So, when it is a short question, don't go on writing the whole summary of the story. That is why, but here when we will be discussing the questions, we may have a long discussion. It might go, it may not be very pinpointed because we are just making discussion. So other things might come, but when you are just writing the answer, you will have to be very accurate. Accuracy is required in the examination, and only then you can get the perfect marks, isn't it? So let us take the questions, because when we shall be discussing the questions, the things will be repeated here, and then it will be, actually, I am just doing it for your better understanding. If the question will be discussed, I will be just analyzing the questions, then your understanding about the story will just increase. Let us take the first question. This is the first question. Let us understand the question. The question asks, what is Saib looking for in the garbage dumps? Where is he and where has he come from? The simple answer of this question is that Saib is looking for rupees in the garbage dump. He is in India this time and he has come from Bangladesh. This is the simple, straightforward answer of this question. But let us have some actually analysis of this question, and some other things, connected things might come here. So why Saib is looking in the garbage dump for what? What is the reason actually? As you know that Saib Alam is a rag picker. He collects rags just and come to just to dump it in the form of garbage, and there in the garbage, the children just go on scrounging for money, and sometimes they get 1 rupee, sometimes they get 10 rupees note, sometimes they get 1 silver coin, and that keeps them in excitement to scrounge it more and more, so that they might be just getting more and more rupees there. So it is wrapped in wonder. Actually, as I said, that this rag picking is a means of survival for the adults in Simapuri, but it is wrapped in wonder for the children. It is something more for the children. That is why Saib is just looking for that money, that rupee in the garbage dump. And as we just know that Saib has come from Bangladesh, because the families in Bangladesh, they suffer a lot because of the natural calamities there, and due to natural calamities, their houses and their fields, they all are destroyed. That is why they have migrated from there and have come to live in India. Just they are living this time in Simapuri, that is in the periphery of Delhi. So this is all about Sahibs coming from the place and Sahib living at the present time, and why Sahib is doing this job of scrounging in the garbage dumps. So this is the answer of the first question. Let us take the second one. So during the explanation of this story, while just explaining this story, we saw that the writer says that these poor children, these rag pickers who are barefooted on roads, in the villages, in towns, everywhere they walk barefooted. They do not wear chappals or shoes in their legs. So, the question is, what explanation does the author of for the children not wearing the footwear? Actually, some explanations are given about when writer asked, some explanations given that it is a part of tradition. That the children not wearing chappals, they are not wearing slippers or shoes because it is a part of tradition. It is just one explanation of this not wearing the shoes or chappals. But the fact the writer that understands, it is not because of the part of tradition. This is just a pretension to say that they are not wearing for that. But fact is that this is because of the perpetual poverty among this class. Because the children live in perpetual poverty. They suffer a lot. These children do not have the facilities, they do not have the money in the family so that they can just buy chappals or they can buy shoes and just live a standard life. If they are not going to school, they are just doing work in the factories or the hazardous places, or just doing only rag picking when they are just young children. So in that case, to just give that they are wearing it because of the tradition, that cannot be accepted. So the writer thinks that it is not because of the part of tradition, but it is because they are living in a perpetual poverty. So this is the explanation, this is the answer of this question, and you will have to give a very accurate answer to the question. The third question is, another important question is Sahib happy working at the tea stall? There is no question of, this is an absurd question that Sahib is happy working at the tea stall. There is no question of being happy at the working at the tea stall, because as I said that Sahib earlier was just picking the rags here and there, wandering with his mates and just scrounging in the garbage dumps. But after some time, he joins a tea stall. And once when the author meets him, he is going to the milk booth with a steel canister to carry the milk from there. Because he says that he is working now in a tea stall and he is getting a salary of 800 rupees per month and 3 times milk. But the writer had observed that there was no carefree look on Sahib's face that time when he was saying that he is earning 800 rupees and is getting 3 times milk, because author had made him earlier also when he was doing the work of rag picking, scrounging in the garbage tank. Actually, there was a sense of freedom in his voice, on his just face. But this time, when he has got a job as a child labor, there is no that freedom to be found in his voice or on the carefree look on his face, because the writer thinks that the plastic bag that he carried on his shoulder was not so heavier than the steel canister that he was carrying this time. So there is no sense of being happy. He's just doing a work of child labor. He's working under someone else who is always putting pressure, no doubt, giving money, but giving him food, but he has to work according to him. He has to work at the disposal of what his master is. He's not the master of his own choice. He has no choice of his own. He has to do what his master just orders him. Earlier, he was doing according to his own choice, just in the morning taking the plastic bag and wandering here and there with his mates and just picking the rags and till afternoon doing that work. Whenever, just according to his own choice. But now, because though he is getting the food, but if he is not free, because happiness comes from freedom. And freedom comes from courage. This is the way. Freedom comes from courage. If you have courage, you are free. And if you are free, you are happy. But if you have no courage, you cannot be free. And if you are not free, there is no chance of being happy. So, Sahib Alam is not happy working at the tea stall. This is the reason. Okay, we shall take next question. Next question, what makes the city of Firozabad famous? The simple answer of this question is bangle making. Bangle making is the main work, the main business in Firozabad. Firozabad is famous for bangle making. It seems that if this city makes bangles for the women of this whole land, because almost every family in Firozabad is engaged in bangle making. Right from children to the elders, they all are engaged. Women, children, men, all are engaged in this business of bangle making. So Firozabad is famous for bangle making in India. This is a city of bangle making. It is a center of bangle making in India. This is the simple answer of this question. But the explanation for you, go through the explanation of this, the cause behind this, because the families here, they all are the poor families. They all are poverty stricken. Right from it is traditional here in the families, they have only known this art of bangle making. Apart from the bangle making, they know nothing. They cannot even dare anything. They cannot even think anything. They have no thought about anything else. Just adults or the women or the children, just after just their birth and just somewhat they grow up, even the children, they have to work around the furnaces in high temperatures, in dingy cells, dark and dingy cells there, and and because of that they lose their eyesight also. But they have to work. Work, and they make bangles, beautiful bangles of varieties of colors, of rainbow colors for the whole country. But these people who make the bangles, what kind of life they live, that is very pitiful. That is very pathetic. If you just see the life of the people who actually do this kind of business, and the whole country in marriages, bangles, how the importance of bangles are there in the marriages. It is the sign of sacredness for the women at the time of marriage. So it is a place from where bangles are made and sold and supplied everywhere in India. This is the answer of this question. Another question is, as the writer said that this city, Firozabad, is famous for bangle making industry. The families are engaged here in bangle making. They only know about bangle making. They know nothing else. And the hazards, because bangle making is it is made in a very hazardous condition. It is actually high temperature. The children, adults all have to work in high temperature around the furnaces. The glass building is done. That is the cell. That is the cell, very dingy and dark cell. There is no fresh air. There is no freshness anywhere around the cells that they work there, and just they lose their eyesight also. Because while making bangles, because of the high temperature, there are maximum chances that later on they lose their eyesight. Even the polishing the bangles, the dust just go in the hair of the children or the adults, and that affect very heavily, and they lose their eyesight. So there are about 20,000 children work in the bangle making industry. And this is all against the against the law of child labor. So child labor, if the law is enforced there in Firozabad, 20,000 children who are illegally working in these industries can be taken out from there if law is enforced. But actually law is made in India, but it is not effectively enforced. And that is why the child labor problem is a big and serious problem in India. And that is why this issue has just raised time and again in India, all over the world, and it is to be stopped. The children are really actually the blooming time of the children. Life is just that phase, and they should be sent to school, they should be educated, and they should get jobs when they become adult according to their choice, not because of the burden of the family or the society. So these are the improvements that is required. Actually, reformation is very much required in India, and only these social evils can be eradicated from our country or from our society. Because to keep the children in the dingy cells, dark and dingy cells, working just welding the glasses, working around the furnaces, polishing the glasses, and losing their eyesight. What is the future of the children? What can be the future of a country where children are working in a very hazardous condition, in a very dangerous condition? So this is very dangerous situation. This is very bad. And these kinds of social evils should be eradicated from our country. This is the answer to this question. Next question is, another very important question is, with regard to this story, is how Mukesh adjusted to his situation different from that of his family. Actually, in Firozabad, we have studied that almost all the families, the poor families living there, they all are engaged in bangle making. Mukesh's family, Mukesh's elder brother, his father, they all are engaged in bangle making. They only know this art. Mukesh is also doing that. But Mukesh is thinking differently. It is not on the pattern of the society that is thinking there in Firozabad. It is not only based on the pattern of the family, his family that is doing what the family is doing. He has a different thought. That is very important. That is a ray of hope for this whole society. That is just doing this kind of thing. A ray of hope is found by the author in Mukesh's eyes, and Mukesh's voices. Because Mukesh thinks differently. Though he is doing the child labor, bangle making, but he is thinking differently. He says himself that he wants to be a motor mechanic. He wants to drive a car. To think other than bangle making is very amazing in the context of Firozabad, where the families just are the victims of the middlemen there. They are just tortured, they are beaten, they are hauled brutally by the police. They become the victim of the policemen. They become the victim of the bureaucrats. They become the victim of the lawyers. And they have much exploitation. They suffer a lot of exploitation. And in such adverse condition, in such adverse situation, where nobody can dare to think other than bangle making. And if they want, when Raja asked, why don't you make cooperative? She asked some men there. The reply was that they cannot think of that. They cannot make any union, any cooperative. Because if they will do anything like that, they will be just beaten. They will be just charged that they are just doing everything illegally. And they will be tortured severely by the police and the middlemen, the sahukars. They all together, they just suck the blood of these people. In that adverse condition, if Mukesh is thinking differently, he wants to be a motor mechanic, he dares to become a car driver. It is really a ray of hope there. Because right away the situation is completely bleak, it is completely gloomy, there is no light, there is no hope, there is complete hopelessness. Where a boss says that other than this, the traditional work that the families are doing there, he wants to become a motor mechanic and he wants to drive a car. It is really big thing. It is really hopeful. It gives hope to the society because one leader is required there. If one leads the society there, comes forward, dares to challenge the Sahukar, the middlemen, the people who exploit them, then really it is very hopeful situation for the whole society. And if Mukesh can do this kind of thing, as writer sees ray of hope in Mukesh, then really this society, the condition of this society in the future will be changed, and the exploitation that they are suffering there, it will take time, but in course of time, things will change. The writer, what actually the writers want when they see very, very bad and ugly situation everywhere, they raise this issue and they just end the story or whatever they are writing just generally on a note of hope. And here in this story, right from the beginning when we started it, right from Sahibe Alam and his mates, and then coming to just from Sinapuri to Firozabad, and the women just engaged in bangle making, and they just always saying that it is in their karam that they are doing. And someone saying that they अभी एक दिन भर में एक शेर अनाज भी भरपेट अनाज भी नहीं मिलता. So all these things, all these complaints, and taking this as a fact, they are not complaining, they are not actually blaming others, but they are only blaming their fate. ये उनके भाग्य में. That is why it is happening like that. Savitri, what Savitri? Sanita is doing there. So and other families and Mukesh. So Mukesh is finally a ray of hope for this whole